Thinking about retiring in Iowa, whether you're a senior planning your next chapter or you're helping a parent navigate the move, this video breaks down the real pros and cons of retiring in Iowa so you can make the decision with more confidence and less stress. Hi, my name's Andy Allgreen, and I help families navigate the transition into senior living. That includes everything from understanding care options to downsizing and actually selling the family home. If you're looking into retirement living, especially here in Iowa, this video is for you. So we're just going to start out and we're going to look at the pros and then we're going to look at the cons. So first thing we're going to look at is affordability. Iowa consistently ranks among the most affordable states in the U.S., and that matters a lot to people when you're on a fixed income. So when you're looking at housing, groceries, utilities, and healthcare costs, all of that typically comes in below the national average in Iowa. So just as a reference, roughly the national average monthly grocery bill is around $475, and in Iowa, the average cost is around $410. And when you look at the utility costs nationwide, those average around $240 per month. But in Iowa, most residents are paying closer to $200 on average. Obviously, just depends on house size and all of that, but just on average. So these lower day-to-day expenses can make a meaningful difference for older adults who may happen to be on a fixed income. And that means your retirement savings can essentially stretch you further, and you may not need to tap into your long-term investments or assets as quickly if you were to live potentially on the East Coast or the West Coast. And that's just when you're looking at central Iowa. Iowa has a lot of smaller towns surrounding central Iowa, so I actually live in Monroe, and Monroe is about 40 minutes east of Des Moines, and it's a smaller community, and you can often find quality housing options, whether it's you're downsizing into a condo or a 55 plus community or assisted living community or something like that. You can find those typically at lower costs overall in central Iowa, and possibly even as you spread out and get into the smaller communities. Second thing, for the pros are the tax benefits for seniors and older adults. So Iowa is one of the more friendly retirement states when it comes to taxes. Side note, I am not a CPA, so if you have any specific tax questions, I definitely can point you in the right directions. But just generally speaking, we do know that Social Security income is not taxed at a state level here in Iowa. Additionally, there are other exemptions on other types of retirement income, like pensions or IRAs. For homeowners specifically, there are also property tax credits available to seniors that can help lower your annual expenses. A few of these are the Iowa Homestead Tax Credit, the Property Tax Credit for elderly and disabled Iowans, and then there's also a new exemption that was introduced in 2023 for residents who are 65 and older. So there's 3 different ones, but at the end of the day, it's not just about saving money. Like, these tax benefits can also give you more flexibility in how you manage your finances overall in when you go to retire. Number 3 is the access to quality health care. When you are thinking about retiring, thinking about proximity to good medical care is critical, in my opinion. Iowa is home to several highly rated hospitals and medical centers, especially in central Iowa. In downtown Des Moines, you'll find Mercy One Des Moines Medical Center and Unity Point Health Iowa Methodist Medical Center, both of which offer a range of specialty services, including just cardiology, oncology, orthopedics, and advanced surgical care. So there's a lot of different options in downtown Des Moines. There's also Lutheran Hospital too, but there's a variety of different hospitals in downtown Des Moines. And then if you go over in West Des Moines, you have Mercy One West Des Moines Medical Center and Unity Point Health West Des Moines campus. So those include different outpatient care facilities. At the end of the day, it's not just about the urban hospitals. There are many smaller communities in central Iowa that are supported by satellite clinics, is what we call them. So yeah, family medical practices and other home health agencies that make healthcare more accessible as you start to get into the more rural communities in Iowa. One of the biggest benefits of retiring in Iowa is that in my opinion, as well, the system isn't super overwhelming. Typically, wait times are often shorter, and healthcare providers tend to take more time with each patient just because there's less of us. We have a much less dense community when you're comparing it to the East Coast or the West Coast. It's a more personal approach, which matters even more as health needs increase as you age. Fourth thing I want to look at here for the pros are the safe, tight-knit communities that we have here in Iowa. So one of the biggest things that makes Iowa special is the people. And if you've ever heard of the term Iowa Nice, I definitely would agree with that. So in smaller towns and even in the suburbs in central Des Moines, there is a real sense of community. And I think that's what a lot of people need, is just to feel like they have a sense of community. So we here in Iowa look for one another. We know how to love our neighbors. Neighbors know each other's names, and that makes a huge difference, especially in retirement. Obviously, if you're looking at downsizing into a smaller house that's in a community, or even into a senior living community, both of those two completely different things, but you're going to find a sense of community inside both of them. I do think you have to be intentional about it. And overall, I think it's easier to build friendships and feel connected in a smaller, more supportive setting. So overall, Iowa's just, compared to East and West Coast, just a smaller, and it has that Midwest vibe to it. Fifth thing I want to look at are the cultural and recreational opportunities that we have here in Iowa. Retirement and aging is not about slowing down. It's about living with a purpose and enjoying the activities that bring you joy in the retirement age. In central Iowa especially, there's a surprising variety of opportunities to stay active and socially connected. While Iowa doesn't have a big, college sports team in Des Moines or anything, just bigger like that, we do have exciting local teams, sports teams like the Iowa Cubs, who is a minor baseball league. We have the Iowa Wild, which is a hockey team. And then we have the Iowa Barnstormers, which is the arena football team. The Iowa Wild and the Barnstormers both play in Wells Fargo, and then obviously the iCubs have their own stadium there, which is just south of Wells Fargo. So all of these are very affordable and family-friendly games, and they're all located right in the metro. When you look at music lovers especially appreciate Des Moines and the Des Moines Symphony, the outdoor summer concerts at Waterworks Park, and there's also live performances at places like the Hoyt Sherman Place or the Civic Center. So there are a lot of community bands and choirs that are also active in smaller towns. I actually I volunteer at the Gathering Place in Monroe, and every other week we have people that come in and just play music and instruments. So it's one of the cool things about Monroe is that we have that building and people come in. If you enjoy the outdoors, Central Iowa also boasts one of the best trail systems in the Midwest, with miles of scenic walking and biking paths, which include the High Trestle Trail, the Neil Smith Trail, and just many other weaving parks throughout central Des Moines. So really, no matter your interest, whether it's volunteering, joining a book club, or just walking and strolling through nature, in my opinion, I always feel like there's something to do here in Iowa, and there's something here for everyone looking to stay engaged in the retirement age. So next we are going to look at the cons of retiring in Iowa and what that could look like. Obviously, the first one I'm going to have to say are the harsh winters. Yes, we are in the Midwest, and to be honest, winter in Iowa can be brutal sometimes. If you have mobility issues or just don't enjoy snow, ice, sub-zero wind chills, this definitely can be a downside for some people. So for some retirees, winter weather can limit outdoor activities, lead to seasonal depression, or make it harder to stay connected with friends and family, because in the wintertime it's just easier to stay cozied up and inside your home. Also, with the winters, it just adds practical concerns like heating costs, snow removal, and driving safety. So some retirees choose to Snowbird is what you see a lot. So they spend their winters in warmer states and return to Iowa in the spring and summertime. So that is the Iowa weather. Number 2, I would say, would be limited public transportation. So unless you're in downtown Des Moines or obviously, over in Iowa City, which is a bigger city, public transportation in Iowa is very minimal. And that means retirees who don't drive anymore might find it challenging to get to doctor's appointments or grocery stores or just different social activities. Depending on where you're moving to, there's obviously like Uber and Lyft that are around that would be able to take you places, or there's other free options that would be available. But if you're moving into a senior living community, most of those offer some type of a shuttle service, or some counties do have on-demand transit for older adults, but it's not as robust as a larger metro areas. Definitely transportation can become a key factor in maintaining independence as you age, so I would say that's a downside or a con to retiring in Iowa. Number 3, I would say, would be property taxes. While Iowa is affordable overall, it does have relatively high property taxes compared to other low-cost states. So according to the Tax Foundation, Iowa ranks 38th in the nation for property tax burden, meaning it has the 13th highest effective property tax rate in the country. This sometimes can be a surprise to retirees who assumed that lower home prices would mean lower total costs. Typically it does, and obviously you just have to look at the monthly cost and not the overall cost, like what are my monthly costs going to be if I purchase this house or if I move into the senior living community. But even with senior exemptions, the annual tax bill can eat into some of that fixed income. So I definitely would think that it's worth working with a local realtor or a financial advisor to actually run the numbers to see whether it makes sense to maybe not even purchase a house. It might make sense for you to rent somewhere, or just depending on whatever your situation is, just exploring different senior-specific housing options with different tax structures. So is Iowa a good place to retire? For many older adults, I would say the answer is yes, especially if you value affordability, community, and access to quality healthcare. But like any big decision, it depends on your lifestyle, your health, and what kind of environment feels like home. So if you yourself are currently in that research phase, or you're helping a parent figure everything out, that's exactly why I host free senior living education seminars on the first Thursday of every month in Monroe at the Gathering Place. So it's a very relaxed, informative seminar that we host, and we cover real world decisions, topics, have conversations, just like we're having right now. So you're always welcome to reach out to me directly if you want to, just have any questions answered. My name and number will be below. Thanks.